Most people have no idea how they're doing financially because no one actually tells you what exactly good, bad, or normal is. So in today's video, we're gonna go over the average net worth by age so that by the end, you'll know whether you're pulling ahead, falling behind, or right exactly where you should be. So first, 2 housekeeping points. 1, what is net worth? It's simply assets, what you own, minus liabilities, what you owe. Examples of assets are things like cash, investments, equity in your home, or equity in your company. Examples of liabilities are largely debts, so think of credit card debt, student loan debt, even your mortgage debt. Second housekeeping point, what is the difference between average and median? Because we're gonna use both to measure net worth. To explain average to you, we're gonna use Jeff Bezos as an example. Imagine there are 10 people in the room. None of these people have a $0 net worth. Jeff Bezos is also in the room and he has a $250 billion net worth. If we take the average net worth of these people, we would say they have $25 billion of net worth on average. Doesn't seem particularly accurate. Median, on the other hand, is what is the middle number. And so if we line those people up, that middle is 0, which is probably a lot closer to what is normal in the room. The reason it's important to talk about both average net worth and median net worth is so that you understand how much the rich can really skew the numbers. In addition, the median gives you a more accurate understanding of what the everyday normal person has as far as a net worth. First age bracket, 20s. The average net worth, a little over $127,000. Median, $6,689. This sounds about right to me. And if you're in your early 20s, I wouldn't be surprised if this number is negative or just 0. And to be in the top 1% in this bucket, if you're between the age of 18 and 24, you'd have a net worth just shy of $700,000. If you're between 24 and 29, you'd have a net worth of a little over $2.2 million. Money goals for your 20s. The overall theme here is building the foundation. One tip, you wanna make sure you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses and put that in a high yield savings account. You need to start building credit at this stage. A strong credit score could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest. And the easiest way is to open credit cards. My biggest tip for you is when you open a credit card, make sure you're getting good sign-up bonuses and not bad ones. For example, the American Express Gold and the American Express Platinum, both are great cards, but they have public sign-up bonuses that are really bad. The Gold is 60,000 points, while the Platinum is just 80,000 points. But they both also have way more elevated non-public bonuses, going as high as 100,000 for the Gold and as high as 175,000 for the Platinum. The key is you gotta be able to find a working link for them and dig around. Thankfully, since you follow me, I have a link in the description box. But for any other cards, make sure you just Google around, all right? The third thing, if you're gonna get credit cards, you must avoid and or minimize your credit card debt. If you don't have the cash, you can't swipe on the card, and always pay your credit card bill on time and in full. 4, start investing. This is as simple as enrolling in your company's 401k and picking a target date fund. 5, think about where you are in your career and where you want to go. Are you currently at a big company to climb the corporate ladder? Are you at a small company looking for an IPO? Are you in a high-paying sector? Are you going to want to be in a high-paying skill job? For me, I went from making $75,000 a year first out of college to within 5 years making $250,000 by making strategic jumps and thinking about my career trajectory. And the ideal net worth goal for anyone in their 20s is to escape it with at least a net worth of 0 or positive. And the number one mistake to avoid in your 20s, thinking you have time later to invest. If you want $1 million at 65, and we assume 8% growth in the market, if you started at 21, you'd only need to invest $234 a month. If, however, you start at age 51, you would need $3,448 a month to get to that same million. So start early. Next age group, in our 30s. Here, the average net worth is a little over $320,000. The median net worth is a little over $24,000. And as for what it takes to be in the top 1% in your 30s, if you're between the ages of 30 and 34, you need a little over $2.8 million. And if you're between 35 and 39 to be in the top 1%, you need over $5 million. Money goals for your 30s. The overarching theme here is accelerate and grow assets. First, are you maximizing your retirement accounts? 401k max contribution in 2026 is $24,500. The max contribution for a Roth IRA this year is going to be $7,500. Second goal, for the couples out there, joint finances. I'm not saying it, the studies are, but one of the top predictors of success in a marriage is financial compatibility. The key here is transparency. I'm not saying get together and just talk money, 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 money. What I am saying is you need to understand each other's views on money, spending patterns, saving patterns, investing patterns. What you don't want to do is end up 5 years into into a marriage, having money fights, divorce, and having your net worth then cut in half. Third money goal, aim for a savings rate between 20 to 30%. More if you can, but this is the base minimum. And if you can be retired within 28 to 37 years, according to this chart. Fourth money goal, the ultimate asset growth and asset acceleration, purchasing a house. It's not going to be easy, but if you can figure out a way to do it in your 30s, it is going to pay dividends later on. In fact, it could be as simple as buying a house hack. You buy a house, you live in one room, you rent out the rest, you have roommates helping you out, and eventually you could take over the entire home. Or you buy a duplex, you live in one unit, you rent out the other. Net worth goal. By the end of your 30s, your net worth should be 1 to 2x of your annual salary. Number one mistake to avoid, lifestyle creep. If you make more and you spend more, you are gonna end up living paycheck to paycheck. Best case with lifestyle creep is your net worth stays flat. The worst case, it actually goes negative. Do not keep up with the Joneses. If you're making more, just save more. Your future self will thank you. Now let's talk about the 40-year age group. The average net worth is a little over $770,000, whereas the median net worth is just over $76,000. That's a 10x difference. The biggest explanation for this is going to be assets that grew. It could be stock market investments, though most likely for a lot of people, it's going to be real estate. To have a top 1% net worth in this bracket, if you're between 40 and 44, you need a net worth of over $8.3 million. And if you're between 45 and 49, you're gonna need a net worth of over $9.3 million. Now let's talk about money goals for this age bracket. The one that I think is the most important, figure out your FU number. The number that you have so that when your boss tells you to do something you don't want, you can just say F you. I'm kidding, don't actually do that. But this number gives you peace of mind, and to figure it out, all you need to do is take your expenses and multiply it by 25. And so let's say your annual expenses are $50,000 a year. Multiply by 25, that's $1.25 million. That's how much money you need invested into the stock market so that you never have to work again, and therefore you're work optional, and therefore when your boss tells you to do the thing you don't want to do, F you. The second money goal here, stay invested. At this point, you probably have seen 1 or 2 or maybe 3 horrific market crashes. They might have scared you to take all of your money out. But guess what? Cash on the sideline is not doing anything. In fact, if you had just missed the 10 best performing days in the stock market, you would have missed out on 50% of wealth gains. Third money goal, reduce and or eliminate all non-mortgage debt. This includes credit card debt and student loan debt. Money goal number 4, setting up the next generation for success. If you plan to have kids, 529 plans. Not only are you helping little Jimmy or little Susie, but you're also helping your current tax situation. The other thing you want to think about is estate planning. Net worth goal at this age, you want to make sure that your net worth is at least 3 to 5x your annual salary. The number one mistake to avoid at this age, you're not maximizing your retirement accounts. Not only are they helping you plan for your future, but they're also helping you in your current state by reducing your current year tax liability. So get those maxed out. In addition, these are likely going to be your peak earning years. So you probably are making the most amount of money, reduce the tax liability, and take all that and put it towards your future self. Next age bracket, 50s. Average net worth, a little over $1.3 million. Median net worth, just a little over $190,000. To be in the top 1% of net worth in this group, if you're between the ages of 50 and 54, you need a net worth of over $14 million. And if you're between 55 and 59, a net worth of over $16.3 million. Money goals. The overall theme is this is the final push. And so the first one is your retirement plan on track? Do you need catch-up contributions? For 401k catch-up, that's an additional $8,000 a year. And for Roth catch-up, that's an additional $1,100 a year. A stretch goal here is having your mortgage paid off. Nothing better than knowing no more additional housing payments as you slide into retirement. Net worth goal. By your late 50s, a target net worth of 6 to 8x your annual salary. Number one mistake to avoid, going too conservative too early, meaning having a very large bond allocation. You could be potentially leaving tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. For a lot of people, they peak earning years are in their 40s. Some are in their 50s. And so with that, because you have income coming in, you can still be a lot more aggressive in your portfolio before dialing into fixed income. In the final age group, 60s. Average net worth, a little over $1.5 million. Median net worth, a little over $260,000. Compared to those in their 50s, not a huge jump. And that's to be expected because people in this age are no longer having income coming in, they're starting to draw down. And to have a top 1% net worth in this group, if you're between the age of 60 and 64, it's a little over $19 million. Between 65 and 69, it's a little over $23.5 million. Money goals for this age group. First one is, what is your drawdown strategy? When are you taking Social Security? Early, mid, late? What about required minimum distributions in your 70s? Are you planning for that and accounting for that from a tax perspective? The second goal, you're now shifting from saving to spending. And so do you have a plan to spend your money? Number one mistake to avoid here, not spending your money. You have worked so hard for so long to have it, so spend it. And I know it sounds very counterintuitive, but many retirees end up going 6 feet under with way more money than they started with simply because they underconsume. Now, part of that is lifestyle. Once you get into your 60s, 70s, 80s, you can't go gallivanting around the world. But the other part is that they have built up a muscle of saving and investing, not spending, for decades. So at this age, and even a little bit before that, I implore you, learn how to spend effectively, because at the end of the day, money is just a tool. It's a utility. You can't take it when you go 6 feet under. Seeing it count up in the bank account, sure, it's kind of fun, but what's the use in that? And take it from me, I was able to hit financial independence in my early 30s, and I have to work really hard to work on that spending muscle because for over a decade, all I've been doing is make a bunch of money, save a bunch of money, invest a bunch of money. Nothing at all to do with spending. And cool, folks, that is the video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, are you ahead in net worth, behind in net worth, right where you should be? What are your thoughts on saving and what are your thoughts on spending? I'd love to get everyone's take on that. Comments, questions, drop it down there and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.